Hi everyone, I'm gonna tell you the different types of database and what is the difference between both of the type. So database is something that will tell you how the data is stored that we all know, and there are basically two types of database storing format. First is relational database, second is non-relational database. In relational database data is stored in the tabular format, which is we can say that in a particular schema. You can see it in the below image. There is a customer table with all the customer data. Then there is product table, and then there is order table. So you can see that all of these tables are stored in the tabular format, and which has a schema defined for each of the entries. Okay, so we have always defined tables in relational database, and we have to join it with each other so that we can query our database. And if suppose if we want to find the orders that has been registered by Alice. So we are going to join this customer ID with the orders with the customer ID in the orders table, and we can see that if the customer ID matches with the customer ID in order tables, you can easily get the order that has been placed by Alice. So that's how the relational database works, and we join it with the help of the keys or the primary key. We can say that in the more technical uh, language. So sometimes this querying of the data, like sometimes we if we have a multiple tables of thousands or millions of tables, we want to join these tables. Sometimes it becomes complex. So as the technology is changing, we are also changing the format in which we store our data. So I will tell you that relational database has multiple joins, and these joins can become a more complex. We can see that in the below points, like a relational database uh, is has if we have the more data, then it can leads to increase of complexity, as there are many. You can assume that there are many tables, and if we are querying this tables, it has to go to the another table, then this table has to go to the some other table so that it can retrieve the data. So that this complexity will increase as the number of tables will increase. So to address this issue, we have another database type, that is the type 2 non-relational database. As the name suggests, it does not has the relational database schema. The data does not store in the format of a tabular format, which reduces the complexity as the data is stored in the key value pairs. Like we don't have a particular schema defined for each one of them. So let's shift to the non-relational database. This is the kind of uh, the data is stored in it. Like it is a JSON format, if some of you know what JSON format is. So these data is defined like in the above table. We have a tabular format, like there is a header for each one of the category and then the data. So here in the JSON format, we have the header and the value of it. So that's why it is called key value pair, as this is key value and this is pair of that key. Okay, so this is called key value pair. And as in the non-relational database, we don't have to join it with any other table. We have the value right in front of it, so we don't have to wait for the processing of the tables to get the data from another table. So in this particular format, performance issue is resolved as NoSQL database does not has the particular schema, and NoSQL has been defined by the key value pairs, and it is also stored in the JSON format. Okay, the query that we get from this is easier as we don't have to see a lot of joins or etc kind of things. So let's see the main difference between both of the database types. So here is the difference between the relational and non-relational database. As I have suggested, in terms of structure, the table is in the row format and column format in relational database, whereas in non-relational database, these are stored in the form of documents or key value pairs or graph, etc. Schema is defined as the fixed schema for relational database, and whereas non-relational database has flexible schema, or we can say that it is schema less. For the scalability, it is vertical and horizontal for both of them. The consistency for the relational database is asset property for the relational, as it follows the atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability for relational database, whereas for non-relational database it has the base model and eventual consistency. For particular use cases for the relational and non-relational database is that the structured data for relational database and unstructured data like IoT and big data for non-relational database. Query language used for relational database is SQL, obviously, and for non-relational database it varies, like it depends on the particular users. Most of the people use like JSON like format and SQL. That's it for today's video. Thanks everyone.